Resident Evil, to me, is like a nice, juicy cheeseburger. It's a wonderful experience that gives me heart palpitations, and despite there being plenty of other options out there, I always end up coming back. For this review, I'll be coming from the place of someone who grew up around the original Resident Evil games, and I have tried them for myself, but was far too young to have the bandwidth to complete them at the time. Nowadays, I have a lot of respect for the original games, but still haven't played through them as the gameplay is not my cup of tea. Even with that said, Resident Evil is my favorite video game franchise, which may sound like heresy to those who cherish the original titles, but that's my honest truth. Resident Evil 2 Remake in particular, to me, is one of the greatest video games of all time. If we're just talking remakes, it is often touted as the greatest remake of all time. The way this game makes the leap to modern gameplay and gorgeous visuals while also keeping the identity of the original game is pure magic. This game is regarded as the gold standard of video game remakes, but you don't have to know or even enjoy the original Resident Evil 2 to enjoy this game. It's not just an incredible remake, it's an incredible game. One of the greatest and most special aspects of RE2, as well as the first RE game, is the ability to play the game twice and get two different experiences that intertwine with each other and exist mostly in the same areas, but still feel entirely unique to each other. Even better is that the game really provides 4 different experiences thanks to the second run or B run feature, but for the sake of this video, we'll be looking at the A campaigns through the eyes of our 2 protagonists. I am a Leon S. Kennedy fanboy. I have this candle right next to my work desk so I can see his face every day, and I really love Claire too. Weird flex, but years ago I actually bought my wife a replica of Claire's necklace that she never wears, but that right there goes to show how equally I love these 2 characters. The gameplay between Leon and Claire is pretty much the same, the survival horror staple of inventory management, using the map to make sure you didn't miss anything. And I must say, this is probably my favorite map in any video game with its simplicity and usefulness. Good old Resident Evil puzzles, which are such an important part of the experience for me personally. The puzzles, along with the beautiful keys, drive the backtracking and facilitate the wonderful use of space in this game, where an area like the police station is not super big, but will keep you entertained for hours. Backtracking is something that can turn a game into a slog, but the nature of zombies to get back up when you think they're toast, as well as the spawning of lickers, makes the backtracking interesting. The lickers are fucking awesome, by the way. They're so damn creepy when you just catch a glimpse of them. Their design is so good both visually and on the gameplay front, with your ability to quietly sneak past them, which can provide some of the most nerve-wracking moments in the game. It's so satisfying when you're able to sneak past one, but sometimes you gotta go into fight or flight mode, and I sure hope you're prepared, as these things will tear you apart. That aspect of choosing your battles is a big part of the gameplay for both Leon and Claire, as ammo is a precious resource in this game. The main difference in the gameplay between Leon and Claire is the arsenal of weapons you have at your disposal. Leon has more standard weapons with the Matilda pistol, which I love how he aims it with the flashlight in the other hand, and the stock makes Matilda feel even better. We have the Lightning Hawk Magnum and Shotgun, which both feel great, and the Flamethrower, that I typically save for the Ivy zombies, who, fortunately for us, were never taught to stop, drop, and roll. Claire's arsenal, I think, is way more interesting. She has a different pistol from Leon that can be powered up to have a nice kick to it. She has a second pistol that has a laser sight. She has a submachine gun, but where it gets interesting is with the grenade launcher and spark shot. The grenade launcher gives us the flame round option that is nice against the Ivy zombies like the flamethrower as well as lickers. We also have the option for acid rounds that are nice against lickers as well and provide a nice licker shriek and bubbling sound. Lastly is the spark shot that has this cool sci-fi look to it and has the interesting mechanic where you need to hold down the shot to get the full damage out of it. Having to hold down the shot creates a degree of vulnerability that really only had me using it against these sewer monsters when you're able to fight them one-on-one. I find Claire's weapons to be more interesting for obvious reasons, but Leon's weapons, while not being as flashy, all feel so good. I love both of these weapon arsenals for different reasons. The biggest difference between Claire and Leon's campaign is on the narrative front. Leon's campaign brings in the alluring Ada Wong, while Claire's campaign brings in the endearing Sherry Birkin. We get a short gameplay section with both of these characters. I certainly enjoyed playing as Ada more than Sherry in terms of gameplay, but both of these companions provide wonderful emotional moments narratively. Ada's introduction is her appearing from the shadows like she does so well. Initially mysterious and closed off to Leon, Ada carries herself like someone who is strictly business. But the charming Leon S. Kennedy quickly builds this chemistry and sexual tension with her that he certainly earned after taking a bullet for her. Ada then shows a bit of affection herself by keeping Leon warm with her jacket, which is just adorable. And she quickly leans on Leon, despite just meeting him and despite her initially cold demeanor.
Where's Leon?
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
But how could you blame her? How could you not fall in love with such a charming, good-hearted individual like Leon S. Kennedy? I'm certainly not someone who needs romance in a video game, but I was cheering when this happened.
What if you need help?
And he follows up the kiss like a total boss.
Leon. Counting on you.
I know.
He's Luke Skywalker and Han Solo all in one. How could you not love Leon S. Kennedy? But of course, romance in Resident Evil isn't that easy. In the end, Ada is indeed strictly business, and her heartless nature leaves her at odds with Leon's bleeding heart. It's like a modern Romeo and Juliet with these two star-crossed lovers, and it is brilliant. Even with their cards on the table and their motives clashing, they show they both care for each other in this seemingly final moment. I did not anticipate ever talking about romance for this long on this channel, but what we have here is so good that I can't help it.
No!
I think the ultimate achievement of this game is that Leon's campaign delivers this tight, compelling story of romance and deceit, while Claire's campaign delivers something equally as powerful but entirely different. From the onset, Claire's side of the story is all about family. She comes to Raccoon City looking for her brother Chris. We don't get much in terms of that relationship in this game, but we get the endearing relationship that forms between Claire and Sherry Birkin. Claire finds Sherry as a scared little girl in this horrifying place known as Raccoon City. Even more horrifying is that the monster she's hiding from is her own father, William Birkin, who we will talk about more in a little bit. Even more horrifying is that William looks like this, but Sherry's mother, Annette, is arguably the even bigger monster.
I'm starting to think that some of the people on this show are worse than the zombies.
Both of Sherry's parents are clearly absorbed with their work, but the game makes it explicitly clear that Annette in particular is an absent parent to help create this maternal storyline. Claire, being the sweet soul that she is, quickly comforts Sherry and finds common ground between them to help Sherry feel more comfortable. Eventually, Sherry becomes infected and Annette literally leaves her own daughter behind in probably the most sickening moment in this game, thus leaving Claire, the person who just met Sherry about an hour ago, to be the one who needs to save this poor little girl. To play devil's advocate, Annette does show some remorse and does have an important job that has all of mankind's well-being in the balance. With the knowledge that the G-Virus will look to reproduce and go after biological children, Annette does give Sherry the locket that is the key to unlocking the antidote to the G-Virus. So there is a little bit of humanity in Annette, but come on. All your daughter wanted was to see you on her birthday, and you walk away from her looking like this. You are certainly one sick piece of shit. But luckily, Sherry has Claire, who preciously keeps Sherry warm with her jacket, mirroring how Ada did the same thing with Leon. These are just two great storylines that tug at your heartstrings in different ways. Another good storyline in Claire's campaign is with Chief Irons, who is actually the worst human of them all. He was basically trafficking children through an orphanage to be experimented on by Umbrella. Reading through his hunting journal really shows how much of a sicko he was. And seeing him be celebrated for his charity work in this Raccoon City publication goes to show the deceit and depravity that ran rampant throughout Raccoon City, and makes you wonder the truth about our own leaders in society. In Leon's campaign, we don't cross paths with Chief Irons, and instead, we have this powerful interaction with Kendo, the gun shop owner. This is a heartbreaking moment with the reveal that Kendo's daughter is infected, and it also shows the difference between Leon and Ada, with Ada being all business, saying she needs to terminate the little girl, while Leon, being the empathetic one, disagrees. You can see the emotion on Leon's face, while Ada does not give a fuck. This was a heavy, emotional moment for poor Kendo that ends with the sound of a gunshot behind the closed door, presumably from Kendo putting his own daughter to rest. While it is brutal, I appreciated this as a new addition in the remake, as Kendo's appearance in the original game ended in a less interesting way. We also get some nice cinematography to end this sequence with the door dividing Leon and Ada both visually and symbolically, with this moment showing the divide between the two of them emotionally, and maybe foreshadowing the future divide between them, while also just driving home the moment with them staring at the door. With that buzzkill out of the way, let's get back to the gameplay. Obviously, these human antagonists are not all we are fighting during the runtime of this game. We already saw the normal zombies, who are the most plentiful enemy in the game, the lickers, who are unforgettable, the zombie dogs, whose eyes give a nice glow in the dark, and that remind me of the dog from Batman Beyond. The dogs are used so effectively, having to walk past them in cages, wondering if they're going to bust out, and having to walk past these doggy door ducts, which they do eventually come out of. There's the G-Virus sewer monsters, who I love the look of, and who get extra nasty when they're able to poison you. They also come with the Resident Evil staple of having a big eyeball as a weak spot that never gets old for me. We're welcomed to the sewers by this giant zombie alligator that provides a nice rush of adrenaline, and that I'm happy the developers decided to leave in from the original game, as they apparently almost left it out.
Holy shit!
I need a good amount of absurdity in my Resident Evil games, and this provides just that.
Chew on that, you overgrown son of a bitch.
Down in Umbrella's underground nest facility, we have the Ivy zombies, who I love to see flapping their sideways mouths. And with the fodder enemies out of the way, let's talk about the main antagonist, filing cabinets. Just kidding, it's this beast of a creation, William Birkin, who is arguably the main antagonist of the game, and I love that I have to say arguably given the several antagonists they weave into this game. Is Umbrella Corporation really the main antagonists, and we just fight their creations that fall underneath their umbrella? I don't know. We first see Birkin as this beautiful G creation that has a brilliant design of half man, half monster body horror. And I must say, in the flashbacks of him before his transformation, I really enjoyed the performance he gives, as well as his wife Annette.
My life's work. I'm not handing over anything. She is my creation.
Sorry,
The first fight against Birkin is just an appetizer for what lies ahead, but is good enough. I enjoy watching him send sparks flying all over as he flails the pipe around like a madman, and I again love the giant eyeball weak spot from both a visual and gameplay standpoint. Birkin escapes into the unknown after this fight, and then later returns for another fight where he is even less human as he has further succumbed to the G-Virus. I like this fight with the claustrophobic arena and the mechanic of needing to hit Birkin with the storage container, which we will need to hit him with a few times, and I would be lying if I said it didn't hit me a few times as well. He falls into the unknown once again, but the most epic fight has yet to come. Toward the end of the game, down in Umbrella's underground facility, we fight Birkin once more, which to me is definitely the best boss fight in the game. Just like the first two Birkin fights, we experience this fight as both Leon and Claire. I have to take a moment to appreciate Claire's intro to this fight, which is her defining character moment for me. Even under these circumstances, she's still thinking about Sherry, showing the altruistic nature we already knew she had. But the best part is this.
You don't know what you're up against. I have a pretty damn good idea. Whatever you do, don't stop until it's finished. Trust me. This ends now.
Volunteering to jump down into this arena to fight this monstrosity with zero hesitation is so fucking badass. Leon reluctantly rose to the occasion in his scenario, while Claire grabbed the bull by the fucking horns. Claire Redfield rules, and this boss battle does as well. The fight oddly reminds me of a From Software boss battle, which I was not expecting in a Resident Evil game, and is the highest compliment I can give. The comparison for me comes from the monster design, the attack patterns, and the wonderful OST. There are also multiple phases in a way that are represented by the eyeballs appearing in different spots. Him interacting with the environment provides more interesting combat and simply looks sweet. There are many ways to approach the fight given the several weapons each character has at their disposal. This fight is great overall and is honestly epic enough to be a final boss, but while it is Leon's last encounter with William Birkin, he does transform once again, giving Claire one last hack at him in her campaign. Birkin in his final form is the final boss of Claire's campaign. Hell of an intro and hell of a look for the G creation here. Watching him climb the walls and slam back down is entertaining to watch. We are given a minigun before this encounter, which is nice, but takes the enjoyment of problem solving and decision making out of the fight, as I'm just letting that thing rip for the majority of this boss battle. Sayonara, William Birkin, you freak. It's time we talk about the other major antagonist in this game. Yeah, we saved the best for last. When I think of Resident Evil 2 Remake, I think of Mr. X. He's so badass before we even see him, ripping through a brick wall and exploding someone's head while keeping up the mystery of what we're dealing with is one of the coolest intros I can think of. And when you come face to face with him, it surely does not disappoint either. He is just the best. It is so stressful when he's pursuing us. I love how he manhandles us. I love how he respects the save rooms. And in this case, he conveniently slammed us into the save room and then respectfully waited outside like a true gentleman. Him respecting the save rooms also set up a false sense of confidence for me in the lobby of RPD where I thought I would be safe, but he just came trucking. I love how he ducks his massive body under the door jamb when he enters a room. I love how he's unfazed by a flashbang blowing up in his face, yet he is phased when his hat needs to be adjusted, which we of course have to make sure we blast off his head. I just love him. He makes the game better every time he's on screen, and he also brings some great Terminator-like music with him whenever he's in pursuit. He's just the best, and honestly makes Nemesis in RE3 Remake look like such a joke. Instead of the final Gatling gun fight against Birkin that Claire had, Leon gets a final fight against Mr. X. This is another nice claustrophobic fight that also has a great OST track to go along with it. One last pursuit for Mr. X as we're stuck on this platform that shrinks as the fight goes on as rubble falls into the arena. We can clear out that rubble with a grenade, which is a nice touch, and the best part is that we get by with a little help from our lady friend, as a rocket launcher slides down from the shadows, revealing that Ada survived her fall into the abyss. A fat rocket to the chest is all we need to take the goat down once and for all. I love both Leon and Claire's campaign, but more screen time for Mr. X, with him pursuing us to the very end and being the final boss fight, that certainly gives the edge to Leon's campaign for me. Claire's campaign is robbed of more time with Mr. X by Birkin tearing him in half, which is a great scene, but the more Mr. X the better as far as I'm concerned. One last character I need to mention before we wrap up is my boy, Marvin Branagh. He really made an impact on me in his limited time on screen. He just seems like a good person. He's intensely selfless and ardently encourages Leon to survive. He brings a sense of camaraderie that you would expect from two members of the same police force, but he just met Leon minutes or hours ago and already had to save his life while wounded himself. Many people would bring an every man for himself mentality to a situation like this, but not Marvin. Rest in peace, King. Resident Evil 2 Remake, to me, is perfection. It not only gives us a cast of characters who are charming, compassionate, alluring, pure, inspiring, and downright horrifying, but it also provides a wonderful gameplay experience that is terrifying while also being fun and satisfying both in blowing someone's brains out, but also in using your own brain. The locations in this game are not plentiful, but are absolutely iconic, with the RPD station in particular having such a unique feel to it, with it being an art museum turned into a police station. The use of lighting is fantastic, the graphics in general are great, and the look of gore is gruesome. The sound design is exceptional, with simple things like bullet casings hitting the ground sounding so crisp. The music is phenomenal, and the experience is overall unforgettable. Let me know your thoughts on Resident Evil 2 Remake down in the comments. Do you still prefer the original? Do you strongly prefer one of the campaigns over the other? Do you think Leon is the hottest guy in video game history? The answer is yes. Let me know down below, and stay tuned for more video game reviews coming soon.
Who left the freezer open?
Damn. Should have packed my parka.